Hi Kandis, hello. Are you at your studio?
Yes, I'm just in the studio finishing up some things to ship to VCU.
I was really excited to talk to you also because I realized that the show Made in LA has now opened, and I wanted to ask you about the work that you're showing there.
The work from Made in LA is a series of large format collages. They started basically in the Huntington Gardens. They started research that I was doing at the libraries of the Huntington. There was a large file cabinet of index cards of thousands of dead plants that were moved and unsuccessfully propagated. And that really kind of drove home the implications of what a botanical garden is in terms of like this kind of Anglo-American empire and how it's used control and utilized so many kinds of exploitation of the natural world, including like, land, fauna, but also thinking about indigenous and Black bodies and sort of the crux of being forced to migrate, forced to move, forced to labor. And so I started researching early botanical gardens, how they emerged in the sort of 17th and 16th centuries in Italy, actually, how the beginnings of plant taxonomy really are sort of the full swings of global trade and also technological trade of that time to now. I'm just thinking through, how we can kind of like understand nature as both public and private, especially in the garden as a site of pleasure and contemplation.
I imagine it might connect also with your research for the show at the Institute of Contemporary Art in Virginia, where you're also looking at the idea of like wild growth.
Wild for who? Wild to who? There are many plants that are produced as exotic, and I'm thinking a lot through the difference between exotic and erotic, how those two are also linked to fear of the unknown and a constant kind of conquering complex in white Western taxonomy. So how we think and label invasive species versus how we think about and label species that are given more normalized status in our environments, like different stereotypes upon plants, especially gendered ones. The feminine and the idea of the feminine reproductive is very much displaced for the scientific reproductive.
And this idea of reproduction being attached to womanhood, it's also why a lot of words relating to the environment and plants historically are gendered feminine. Take Latin, for example.
I think that there's a lot of masculinization in cultivation language. Like successful cultivations are also in families. They're normally given the name of the explorer, discoverer, cultivar, breeder, but then they're also, given individual names. And I find that so pathological as well.
Yeah.